Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory Update 7 in our Mega Factory 2.0 build that we have been working on. And on this episode, I'm still a little bit short on the amount of power that I kind of need to get us to the point where I can build the nuclear reactors because, of course, I need a lot of materials to feed into that plant. So we need to build some more temporary power, and I figured why not just run around and gather up every single coal node that's out here and make one great big huge massive coal power plant. Well, that's what we're going to do in this episode, is we're going to gather up every single coal resource and we're going to make sure that we can build ourselves a really massive coal power plant. But with that said, I do need to set aside some of that coal for manufacturing for things that we're going to be building throughout our Mega Factory 2.0 build. So sit back, relax, and let's jump into it. So we need a little over 5,000, almost 5,200 coal specifically for things that we're going to be building throughout our Mega Factory. We're going to need it for steel ingots and aluminum scrap. So both our steel ingots and our aluminum scrap are going to be consuming some coal. So we're going to need a good pile of this for our Mega Factory builds. So I've already gone ahead and I've gathered up 7 full lines of 780 coal, which is going to be a little bit more than we need. If we do the old math on it, what 780 times 7 lines is 5460. So we're about 300-ish over what our actual requirements are, which is fine because we might tweak things a little bit. It all depends on how those factories end up building out for us as to what our coal requirements are going to be. But that leaves all of the rest of them available for coal power. Now, some of them I'm already using in sporadic coal power plants that we have throughout our base. But the rest of them are going to get gathered up. But first, let's have a look at what we did here for gathering up these 7 coal lines that we've got going out here. So there was one over by where one of our copper nodes are that we're pulling from, and that's the line that we kind of followed in here. We have 3 more nodes here. These ones are not fantastic. I believe there's 2 normal nodes and 1 impure node here that we're pulling from. Every single one of these are all overclocked to 300%. So if we look at this, we're getting 600 off that one. We're getting 600 off that one. And this one over, where is it? Right here. This one's getting 300 off of it. So we've got splitters and mergers, smart splitters and mergers in here so that we can get these lines all clocked out so that they're running full. So the bottom line here is running at full speed, 780, and I believe the top one here is running at 720. And then, we've got those nodes. That one over there is a normal node, so this is 600 items per minute that's coming in on this line. And as we shoot off this way, these two nodes that are right here, those are both pure nodes, so they're running 780 items per minute already. And then we have a few more nodes over here that we're pulling from. That gets us, basically, we've got 2 full lines of 780 and another line here that's 240. This 240 line comes up and merges with our 720 to give us some excess that's going over the top. So that gives us a 780 line that's heading out. And then we have 180 up on the top line here, which is merging with our other 600 line to give us our 7th 780 line. So that's what we've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines of coal. This is reserved. This is for our factories for making our steel ingots and our scrap aluminum. We're not touching this for anything else. That's why we've got it all flagged aside. But that means there's a crap ton of coal out here that we can still gather up and convert into coal power. Okay, so let's load up the map that we got from satisfactorycalculator.com, the interactive map that's there. I've got it selected to show all of the coal nodes throughout the entire map here. Now, if you look in this desert area in the top right-hand corner, that is, all of those nodes across the top are being used. There's 2 pure, there's 4 normal, and there's 3 impure. Those are reserved. I'm using those. And then if you look down a little bit further in the desert there's a cluster of 3 normal nodes there. One of those is pulled into that reserved line. But that still leaves us, it looks like there's a hidden pure node a little bit further to the right of that, another normal node, 2 more normal nodes, and some impure nodes here, plus all the rest of the coal that you see here throughout the entire area. So that means we're going to gather up all the rest of this coal and turn it into like a ridiculously huge power plant. Now, I also know that some of this coal that we have right now is being used in our current starter factory production. Granted, I'm not going to be able to use those for power right away, so those ones will have to kind of stay doing what they're doing, but it doesn't mean that we can't gather up all the rest of them. So how are we going to get all of this coal moved around and moved into its place? Let's just grab this summer slop here before we move on. Okay, that's gathered. We've got our track that's kind of off into the distance here. We've got this tube system that's maneuvering all of our uranium to where the uranium power site is going to be. I think I might build some type of a highway system or some type of a bridge system that's connected below where the uranium is, that we can have all of the coal fed to on that and then shoot it off in one direction so that we can go find some power plant that we can, or some area we can build the power plant on. So that's what I'm going to work on right now, is I'm going to build some type of a structure off of this that we can house all of this coal that we're going to be gathering from all over the map and get that to a central spot. So let's get that built. All right, so I've kind of picked a height here that I think is going to kind of clear any of the structures that are out here as we kind of build this little ramp system that's going to be handling, or this bridge system that's going to be handling all of the coal. Now, it's going to be a challenge getting this stuff up here. Of course, we're going to be relying on elevators and everything to get the materials up. How exactly that's going to look, I'm not entirely sure yet, but we'll kind of cross that bridge as we get to it. But I want to get this highway in place, and I wanted to kind of make sure that we're not going to interfere with anything. But with that said, I also want to make sure that we're not going to be dealing with radiation issues when we're up here. So I'm actually going to have to run that uranium through here and see if we're far enough away. I don't know what the distance is before you start actually ticking some radiation. Somebody might, leave a comment here if they know how many blocks or how many meters away you can be from uranium before you start getting a radiation tick. But I want to make sure that this level that we're at here, I think we're going to be safe. I don't think this is going to be a problem. But let's double check before we get there. So I'm going to actually fill our uranium lines. Right now, everything's just kind of to the little pillars where we come up here. The uranium comes up to there, but we're not actually conveyoring it along yet over to that far side. So I might actually go and at least get that done, because that is, one step that gets us closer to our power. And then we'll get an idea of how high or low we need to be for this conveyor system that's going to be running along here that's going to handle all of our coal. So let's play with some uranium. Okay, this is odd. I'm standing here beside a conveyor of uranium, and I'm not taking any radioactive damage whatsoever. I'm thinking this is just a glitch. I don't think this is real. I believe if I'm walking on a uranium conveyor belt that I should be, taking some radiation sickness of some kind here. But, yeah. This is a little on the bizarre side. So we're going to keep building this out, and maybe the uranium needs to be moving. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. All right, clearly was a graphical glitch, because now as I'm over by this conveyor system, I'm definitely getting some radiation as we started getting some building and stuff moving along here. So it was just a temporary little, okay, whatever. All right, we've got all of the uranium running through this tube now out to where the uranium power plant is going to be. And actually, we can be quite a ways up. This is where the radiation level actually starts from that transport tube that's up there. So we can actually come down to like this level here and not have to deal with any radiation. So we have no issues with the height that we had selected over there for what our transport height's going to be for all of the coal. And then we're going to bring that coal down and we're going to take advantage of this massive area of water down here. That's where all the coal is going to go. We're going to have our huge coal power plant out that way. So, all right, let's get that infrastructure in place. Our new coal freeway of conveyors that are going to be up there. As I was flying back, I did come across this little oil outcropping that's here. And there's a lot. There's like 3 pure and 3 normal oil nodes here that we could totally rip that off and end up turning this into some more oil, like fuel that we could set up down here. We could build another little fuel power plant right down here and pull up any water and stuff that we need. I don't know, do we need water for that? No, I don't think we do. No, we wouldn't. So we would just refine this oil and make another oil power plant out of this. So I'm going to just make a note of this on the map. It's right here. In case you guys are looking, there's a spot right here on the map. There's a little outcropping here. There is pure. There's also some like just trash uranium up here that's not part of a node. So it's kind of a little radioactive over here. So you just want to be careful with that. But we could easily, go, this one's normal. This one here is pure. This one is normal, pure, and pure. So, yeah. That's a good little note. Extra little oil nodes that we could get set up here to get us some more power if we need to. But I'm still going to focus on the coal for this episode. But that's we'll come across that later for sure. I'm sure we'll need it. All right, so we got a pretty good start to a bridge system here that is set up to be able to run our coal back to wherever we decide we're going to build our coal factory. But now it's a matter of going around to all the coal nodes, gathering those all up and get those materials up to the bridgeway here. And yeah, so it's going to take a bit to gather up all of those. We look back at that map that had all the nodes spread out throughout the world, and there are a fair pile of them that we're going to be working on to get this all built. So let's start getting some coal running on this bridge system. All right, so I've finished gathering up all of the coal nodes on the south half of the map. So if we were to draw a line right along here where our current little bridge system is, all of the coal nodes on this lower half of the map have all been gathered up here. And if you look at this, we have what do we got here? 6 rows of 780 items per minute. We have a ridiculous amount of coal here. So we are really cruising along. So they're 4 high. So this is what, 24 rows of coal that we've got going on here. And now it's a matter of getting this coal all the way down the ramp that we've got to the end here and putting it into power plants. So I'm going to get the first 4 hooked up and running because then I'll be able to go back to our old coal power plants that we've got off to the distance there, and I can tear them out because then they'll be replaced. And then we'll add the coal from those nodes up on this conveyor system as well too. And we'll have all of the coal power on this far side of the map. Basically, all in this area over here is where all of our coal power is going to be done. So let's get some of that done, and we'll see how things are progressing. Okay, so we've got a thing happening here. It looks kind of crazy. My original plan was I was going to build these coal power plants out further into the water here, and if we can get down a little bit lower and we get out of this fog that's up here, you'll be able to see kind of what I wanted to do is these structures that I've got here. They're the platform. That's how much space we need for one of the coal plants. Well, I wanted them on this side because we can actually build out here quite a ways, but once we get to this really deep water out here, you can't use the water extractors anymore. So it basically made it completely useless. So I started pulling some of the coal down here, and I have 4 of the plants up and running, and started placing a whole bunch more of the coal generators and stuff. But this here is now kind of the plan for all of the coal generators. They're going to be tucked in a little bit closer to land. And of course, we have to make enough room for all of the lines of coal that are going to be coming down here. So I think right now we're going to have like 24 plants plus whatever I can pull off of our existing coal that we're currently using. So it might even get closer to 30 by the time we're done here. But this is kind of what it's looking like so far. And we're just scraping the surface of what is going to be out here for functional power. So these 4 are up and running and producing power. They are doing everything that they need to do. They're pulling 780 per minute coal in, and then each side has 4 300% overclocked water extractors that are pulling in to provide all the water for them. We're slightly overproducing the water, but not by a huge amount. So it's better to have too much water than not enough. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So we've got these 4 plants, and they're tucked in right beside in one of the earlier episodes as we were building when we were working towards the end game. This is one of our fuel generator plants that we had built back, I want to say maybe episode 6, 7, somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly where it is, but yeah, out here again, it's all going to be coal. So now you've got a kind of an idea of what the way it's going to be. Let's get every single one of these coal nodes up and running and every one of these coal power plants up and running. And then we're going to see just how much power we're actually generating from all this. All right, so after going around and gathering every bit of coal that this planet has to offer, with the exception of what we set aside for our requirements for making our steel and scrap aluminum, and what is currently being used in our starter factory for scrap aluminum and steel, we've managed to gather 23,580 coal. We have 30 conveyors here running at 780 items per minute, and 1 conveyor running at 108 items per minute. And that's this one here that's currently backed up right now because, I mean, it's been sitting for a really long time. So all of that line had got fully saturated. So there's actually a lot of like backlog coal in there, which is why it's like slowly ticking along. But eventually this will all get consumed up and be running at 180 items per minute. What has that worked out to? 23,580 coal per minute works out to 1,572 coal generators that we have set up out here. Each one of these coal generator banks that are here are 52 coal generators, which is consuming 1 full conveyor of 780 items per minute coming off of them. As well as there are 8 water extractors for each one of these that's generating all of the water requirements with a little bit of excess. But all of the requirements for our basically coal generated steam turbine is what these are. So each one, we need one of these banks of 52 to do one of our conveyors of 780 items per minute. And we have 30 of those conveyor lines. So yeah, the math worked out. With our 12 extra for the 180 that we have coming off that one conveyor over there, 1,572 coal generators. And this in total is making 117.9 gigawatts of power for us. I had no idea that we'd be able to generate this much power. I just started gathering up all the coal. Once I found out how much coal it was, we started putting this all together. And you want to know something? This took almost 80 hours of gameplay to put all of this together. This is easily, by far, My largest factory to date that I have built is all of these coal generators out here. And you can see this is our small little coal generator plant where it's dealing with that 180 items per minute. But all of the rest of these are all running at 100%. They're cruising along, generating our power. So if we look at our power consumption now, our power usage, we're making anywhere between, because remember the geothermal generators that we have out there and some of our little bit of fluid blips we have over in our fuel generator, we're making anywhere between basically like 154 and a half to, it looks like I cap out at about 156 and a half gigawatts of power is what we're making now. Our max consumption right now is only 70 gigawatts of power. We're only using 36 gigawatts of power. I can actually go along now and turn on our iron plant. I can turn on our copper plant. We can have the concrete going into awesome sinks. We can have all that stuff running now and not have to worry about power usage as we continue with the rest of our starter factory. And you can see here we have another little oil refinery that's stuck in the middle of this, that's taking care of all of the oil nodes that are out on this point. And then we have all of that, all around it is all coal generating power. Did I need to do this? No. Is it absolutely amazing that we did? Yes, I think so. You guys may disagree, but I mean, we're here to reap this planet for everything that it has and being efficient while doing it. And by golly, we've managed to accomplish that. So with that said, I think we can finally move on to other projects, and we can put this long attempt at making a video to bed, because I've spent weeks getting this to a point that was functional. And of course, I have a regular 9 to, or basically 8 to 6 job through the week, 5 days a week, and then in the evenings trying to get this built and get some stuff recorded. So please, if you get an opportunity, reach down, hit that like button on this video. I really would appreciate it. Comment, let me know. Have you gone through and built something like this? What is your largest factory you've done to an absolutely amazing scale? And let me know what you think of our 117.9 gigawatts of coal power generation that we are currently running out here. It doesn't even render all in. It goes out so far. With that said, subscribe if you are new to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And ring that notification bell so you can be notified when I have a new video completed. Things to look forward to here in the future. I'm going to do a little video of some tips and tricks on dealing with fluid and dealing with conveyor belts. That's the next video I'm actually going to do, because I learned a lot in dealing with fluid dynamics, both on the fuel generator that we dealt with over there, and also dealing with conveyor merging to be able to optimize your conveyors to the best of their ability. I've learned a lot through this little process, so I want to share those little tips and tricks that we've done. So that's what you get to look forward to coming in the future here. So follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter at TerrisDWDC. I also post on there when I've released a new video. And yeah, you guys have a good one, and we will see you in the next one.